Hey everybody, let's talk about thyme today. It is a great little herb to grow on your own. And hey, if you're a beginner gardener or you're thinking of beginning a garden, think about growing herbs. There are so many of them. They're very easy for the most part, and thyme is another easy herb to grow. So sit back, relax. Let's talk about thyme. Okay, just like with any other herb, you need to take into account your sun pattern and where you are as far as zone-wise and heat-wise where you live. Thyme likes a warm, sunny place, but let's just say you're down in zone 9A like I am. You cannot have this out in the blazing heat. You need to have it in a shaded place, but it does like the heat, just not the sun beating down on it. So you need to make sure that you know where you're putting your herb garden or where you're going to plant your thyme so that it gets what it needs, which is a good amount of sun, but not the blistering sun. That is very important. There are many different types of thyme. The ones that you usually see being used in, say, cooking shows is the English thyme. It's usually like an evergreen color. Those are the ones that you usually cook with, but there are so many different types. Like I have a lemon thyme right over there. So, and I have a regular thyme right over there, which I'm showing right here. And this one that I'm showing right here has been in the direct sun. That's why it looks the way it does. But as soon as the heat starts to go away, say in September, October, that thing's gonna come back and have flowers and just start going crazy. Okay, now this is one cool thing about thyme is it's a very low growing herb. It doesn't get tall. It stays really low to the ground, and it spreads really well across the ground. So you could technically use this, like I do, as a living mulch. It will help retain moisture in the soil, and it gives a great place for beneficial insects to hide within your garden. Now this herb was originally from the Mediterranean area, so it likes a dry type of soil. You do not want thyme sitting in a swamp. You want the soil moist, but not swampy wet. Very important. You do not want the roots sitting in just a bunch of water. So you need to have a good, well-draining soil full of nutrients for this herb. Now I'm able to harvest thyme easily into the summer. So if you plant it in spring, by summer you're definitely harvesting. And depending again on where you plant it, where you are in the zones, how much sun and direct sun and all that you give this plant, you can probably be harvesting well into the fall easily. One cool thing about this herb is that when you're amending your soils, you don't need a ton of amendments. You just need basically compost. It doesn't need a lot, so give it stuff that will slowly break down over time to help the thyme grow, and compost is perfect for that. If you want to get a jump start, say in spring, and you have someone or you have your own thyme growing inside, but you want to transplant some to the outside, about 6 to 8 weeks before your last expected frost date, cut some of those long branches off and stick them in their own jars of water. They will sprout their own roots, and by the time they do that, you're going to be able to get them out into the garden and get a jump start on your spring garden by doing it that way. Very easy. Cuttings from thyme are super easy, just like with basil. Now, one thing that I love about thyme is I use it as a companion plant, almost more than I use it in the kitchen. This plant is a great companion plant for so many different vegetables, but here are just a few, or herbs, but here are just a few that I'm going to list for you. Dill, sage, rosemary, eggplant, and garlic. Plant thyme around those. Now, I take it a step further, and I plant thyme around my tomatoes also, along with the basil and everything else that I plant around tomatoes. But thyme brings in a lot of beneficial insects like the following. Besides bees, because of course we love the pollinators, they also bring in hoverflies and parasitic wasps. Now both of those two insects help naturally protect your garden from bad pests, the ones that destroy everything. And you want as many companion plants in your garden as possible to help bring in that army, that armada of beneficials to help control all your bad pests. and thyme is a fantastic one to grow because again, it stays low. Where basil gets really tall and up in the, really tall, thyme stays low. You're bringing in a different level of beneficial insects to help your garden. And plus, thyme just smells good. And they put on beautiful little flowers. So it's a win-win-win. Now, another thing that thyme does is it helps repel certain insects. Again, helps repel. Doesn't mean it will, it just helps repel the following: cabbage worms, flea beetles, and the hawk moth, which is the moth that lays the eggs for the tomato hornworm. So if you have a lot of tomatoes and you do not want insects hitting those tomato plants, one, plant basil, big one, but thyme is another one that helps bring in, like I've said a minute ago, so many extra beneficial insects to just help your garden. Okay, so you're ready to go. You've got your thyme. You're ready to get it planted. You want to keep this in mind. Keep them about 8 to 12 inches apart because they will grow and spread across the ground. Like I said, living mulch. And again, you want to plant them in a good, rich, well-draining soil with plenty of sunlight. And y'all, you're ready to rock and roll with your own thyme. So if you're going to be harvesting, you're usually going to want to harvest when the stems are 4 to 6 inches. That's what I usually do when I've used it inside. Other than that, y'all, I just let it go. I like to just allow a lot of my herbs to just go to flower. Like you're seeing right here behind me with all the basils that are going everywhere behind me. I love to companion plant. And the more companion plants you can have in your garden, the better your garden is going to be, 100%. And again, this is a video about thyme, so thyme is one you definitely want out here, for sure. One other herb that grows really well with thyme is rosemary. So if you're gonna plant a bunch of herbs together, those are two that do really well with each other. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna grow rosemary, why not throw some thyme in with it? You have nothing to lose. Now, thyme is a perennial, so you plant it once, you keep it alive, and it's good to go. It's going to keep coming back and coming back. Now, the older the plants get, you will need to separate them and spread them around because they will tend to get woody. So you want to be sure that you've got fresh thyme growing along with your old stuff too. And the way I do it is I let the old stuff, really, the old herbs, grow and flower and bring in all those beneficials, those bees, the pollinators, everything. And then the young ones or the newer ones are the ones that I'll use, say in pestos or for cooking or whatever I'm doing with that, or whatever I'm doing with that herb. Pestos are like basil, but thyme you use when you're grilling steaks and stuff of that nature. So yeah. All right, everyone. So that's basically the beginner's guide to thyme. There's not a lot to this herb. It's a very easy herb to grow as long as you follow basically what I said. Make sure well-draining soil, plenty of sunlight, but not that scorching sun. Just sit back and watch it, enjoy it, and use it. It's very easy. All right, everybody, if y'all enjoyed this video, as always, do me the favor, share, like, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. Everyone take care, God bless, continue to shine bright, harvest hard, plant some thyme. You never know, it might become your next favorite herb to grow. Talk to y'all again real soon.